I knew when we were coming down that there was something wrong.
He was pulsing the engines, running them up and down, up and down, up and down.
It only took a matter of a couple of seconds before it slammed into the Rosen house.
I didn't know what happened, whether it was a bomb or a gas explosion.
It was a cold, snowy night, March 3rd, 1972. Mohawk Airlines Flight 405 was carrying 45 passengers and 3 crew members when it left LaGuardia Airport bound for Albany. That Fairchild-Hiller turboprop was within 5 minutes of putting its landing wheels down on Albany's runway when instead it crashed in this quiet Albany neighborhood. I was a teenager at the time, lived just a few blocks from here, and my brothers and I heard those sirens and raced to the scene. And then 15 years ago, for the 25th anniversary, I came back and interviewed many of the survivors of Flight 405. It is a story that has haunted me ever since.
All I heard was this muffled woof when the plane hit the house, and you could see the house go up in the air and come back down again.
7 minutes before that flight crashed into a 2-story home at 50 Edgewood Avenue. Pilot Robert McAdam and co-pilot William Matthews wrestled with a temperamental part that controlled the propellers.
The 405 is going to land short. We're in trouble.
The crew's problems were compounded when they couldn't feather the propeller that would have allowed the plane to land with one engine.
405, the 4-mile fix. You want equipment standing by?
2 seconds from impact, they cut the engine and presumably prayed.
No chance.
Those aboard would later say they had no warning.
I didn't know that we were going to hit a house. I had thought perhaps that we were right at the airport.
On the ground below, Marcia Rosen had no idea what was about to happen. 40 years later, she still remembers.
We were sitting watching The Partridge Family Friday night, and a plane went over, and I said, boy, that's really low. And after that, the windows, the whole wall of windows in the back of the house blew out.
Albany Police Sergeant Dave Aloisi recalled how he ran to the back of the house.
And the woman that lived in the house was sitting on the ground in her nightclothes, and she must have been in total shock.
An upstairs tenant, 38-year-old Peter Sargent, was killed. His wife survived. Eyewitnesses say the inside of the 227 looked like a crushed eggshell, while the nose and tail were visible from the street. As that crumpled mass of metal settled into the snow, it kicked into gear an enormous effort to recover the dead and injured and to protect a neighborhood from annihilation by fire.
I think the lack of a fire is what certainly held down the casualties.
Edgewood Avenue became a small city of emergency workers, doctors, police, ambulance, and hundreds of the curious.
Thousands of people have gathered here at the scene to see the symbol of this great tragedy.
There were 31 miracle survivors of that plane crash. 17 people, including the pilot and co-pilot, were killed.
I felt guilty that I was a flight attendant and the only flight attendant on board, and I couldn't help anybody.
Sandy Quinn was the only member of the crew to survive. Her head was split open. She broke 6 vertebrae, had a collapsed lung, and a lifetime of guilt.
You know, if you know anything about survivor's guilt, it's totally immobilizing. It weighs on you every moment of the day.
This 40-year-old image of a child's toy savagely displaced by the giant wing of an airplane captured the sudden random fury of lives ripped up and scattered with no warning. Liz Bishop, CBS 6 News.